Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My hormones make me a nutcase. Hope you are all
Welcome, welcome.
doing well. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of getting back on track with weight loss or whatever your health kind of goals might be. Um, Maybe you've fallen off, maybe you've gone on holiday, maybe you've had a lot of social events on, maybe you just slipped up and then found it difficult to kind of get back into routine.
Yeah, and I think there's so many different times in the year where this happens. Like you just mentioned,
Mm.
obviously holidays, like um we have a lot of mums in our group, so like the 6 week holiday, oh my gosh, that's literally like,
Mm.
my group chat goes from being really chatty to silent for 6 weeks and then really chatty again because everyone disappears because they're obviously busy with
Yeah,
their kids. But I'm like, wow, is anyone there? Like, but then
yeah,
when people are away for that long or they're out of like habits and stuff, when they're coming back, they're really struggling. I know that's quite a topic that people are talking about at the moment. Like, how do people get themselves back on track, or what are people doing to, what are they doing even when things are going tits up, like just to have like some sort of baseline of activity or nutrition still going through. Like, how do you deal with that whilst things are going on around you?
yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I talk about a lot with my clients actually. It's like, so I think people get really stressed and worried when like there's birthdays, there's Christmas, there's holidays, there's all these things coming up. And they're like, well, how am I going to manage all of these healthy habits that I've built through this time? Like, I'm going to go off track. Like, what's the point? Like, these things are always gonna crop up. And I'm like, you've kind of got to change your whole mindset on this stuff of like, life is always going to happen. Like, there's
Mhm.
always going to be birthdays, there's always going to be Easter and Christmas. So we've got to create a lifestyle that's healthy and balanced around all these things and accept that, going back to like that perfect stuff that we've talked about before, is like life isn't going to be perfect. We're not going to be 100% every single week, and that's fine. So it's kind of changing that perception of we need to be perfect, on track, 100% all the time. Maybe we'll just not have the birthday cake on birthdays, and we'll won't have Christmas dinner and Christmas, and just because like that's not living
Not
at the
really.
end of the day, and it's not
No.
possible, is it?
Exactly. Like if that was a thing, like if you were that like worried all the time about stuff like that, you literally wouldn't leave your house and you'd do the same thing all the time. Like you wouldn't let anyone else in because they would like disturb what you're doing and out of like you wouldn't, yeah. You're basically confining yourself to being like, this is how I want to live and I have to live like this all the time. And no one lives like anything, any type of way all the time unless maybe if they've got, whatever. Anyway, like you just, yeah, you have to accept that there's going to be ups and downs. We don't train
Yeah,
3, 4, 5 times a week every week. We don't eat
no,
like, I know, fruit, veg, protein, carbs, the amount that you probably should have all day, every week. Like, my God, we
no,
go on holidays and we go and look out for stuffed cookies everywhere.
yeah,
Like, like that's not in my weekly schedule, but that's fine because that's fun. And then you come home and then you just go back to doing what you were doing. Like,
yeah. It's accepting that your life isn't going to be perfect, and there is room for all these things to happen. And it's not about. It's almost. I know we're saying like to get back on track, but it's almost like you're not kind of getting back on track. You're like just getting back into normal routine. Do you know what? I can't work how to
yeah,
explain it, but do you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
not actually. It's just, oh yeah, well I've been away for a week and now I just get back to what I usually do. So I suppose it is getting back to it, but it's just your normal daily routine rather than like getting back on that crazy clean eating diet extreme
yeah.
side of things.
Yeah, because then that's what you're doing, isn't it? It's then extreme if you're constantly then going, okay, now I'm going to restrict myself for this amount of time. And then I've fallen off the wagon. I need to get back on. No, we need to create
Yeah,
habits that are sustainable so you don't ever feel like you're necessarily falling off the wagon. So it might be like, yes, like everything becomes really hectic. I don't know, like your kids are in and out the house, you've got loads of things to do. You might not necessarily, you might set yourself like a non-negotiable of like steps. So like you make sure like every day your non-negotiable is like 5,000 steps, something achievable, not out of reach. And then you
Yeah,
might have like times where it's less busy and you're like, actually, I think for this amount of time I could do 8,000 steps as a non-negotiable as my minimum. Like, and just have those like barriers, like what do you call them? Like between 5 and 8,000, like range.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Have like a range of when you're more busy and it's really hectic, and then when you're less busy and you've got a little bit more time to spend on other things. Like,
Yeah,
don't just suddenly be like, oh, I'm so busy I can't do anything.
yes, yes, definitely, definitely. I think that's really important to like towards the end of one week to look ahead at your next week and see what's going on. Like I
Mhm.
always say at the end of like with my clients, I say, how is your next week looking? Like, have you got social events on? What's coming up? What's your time like? You know, all that kind of stuff. Because it's like, then you can plan ahead for that next week. And maybe it is you can only do one workout next week. Or like you say, maybe it's you can only hit 5,000 steps. Maybe it's only a 30-minute walk rather than an hour walk. So it's just adjusting your habits so you can still do them, but they're more achievable in those busier times, like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a few that have come back from holiday and like, oh, I just can't get into it. And I'm like, right, one workout, you've got 7 days. One workout is half an hour. Find half an hour somewhere in those 7 days. And they're like, okay, I can do that. Instead of coming back into being like before holiday, you're so motivated, you're so like on it, and you're like, I need to get in my 3 workouts,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Like, know that is not gonna happen when you come back from holiday. Like, I don't know
yeah,
many people, unless maybe you're an athlete of some sort, that will be like straight in and be like, bam, I'm straight back on it after holiday. It takes a little bit of time to get back into that routine. So expect that to happen, but plan for like I say, the lowest amount of workouts, just get one in. So you can get back into it and you're like, right, okay, yep, I need to get back in. This is how I'm going to get back into it. Start small,
yeah,
then build. Then the next week, maybe do two, and then go from there and build it up. But when you then just say to someone, okay, just do one workout, they're more likely like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's achievable.
yeah.
Make it achievable.
Definitely, definitely. Because if you set yourself too high and then you don't do it, then you feel like a failure and then you give up. Whereas if you set the expectations lower and you achieve that and maybe do a little bit more, you're like, wow, I've done that this week. Then you build motivation, you build momentum, and therefore you keep going. So always set the expectations that little bit less.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I know this isn't, well, I suppose it is kind of related, but I wrote a thing in my group chat the other day because I saw it and was like, do you know what? That's actually really good. So, like, you're never going to be ready to start, right? And I know we did a podcast on this, but like, when you come back off holiday, you don't suddenly think, oh, I'm ready to start exercising. Well, you might if you've really gone overboard and you feel a bit blur, but you might want to. But a lot of people won't want to. They'll be in the holiday mode still and you won't want to do it. But remember, there's not a perfect time to start. Like,
Yeah,
being ready to start is not a feeling, so you're not ever going to feel it. Like, it
yeah,
is something that it's a decision you make. You have to make that decision to want to start. If you don't make that decision to want to do it, it's never going to happen.
yeah.
So remember that, yeah, it's not going to be a feeling that you get. You have to make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is definitely linked. I think you can also link it in the sense of like if you have been on holiday for a week, then you've got to make that decision to just get back into your normal routine.
Yeah.
Whereas when you say, oh, I'm not ready to do that now, maybe I'll do it next week, I'll give myself an extra week, I'll give myself an extra week, then before you know it's 4 weeks down the line, you're really off track, then it's so much harder to get back into it. Whereas actually if you start with the basics once you get back, okay, let's start with one workout. Let's start with getting some protein back into my meals. Let's start with maybe just prepping a couple of meals in the week. All those just little things. Maybe I'll swap that afternoon ice cream for a bit of fruit. Doesn't need to be perfect, but you're just easing back in with these little things. Maybe the next week you'll have a little bit more time, you can build on from that, and then, just go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it, isn't it? Even with nutrition, just build things back up. Like, don't go crazy first. Don't think, oh, I need to get everything done, everyone's meals done, like, and prep
Yeah,
for the whole week, because it's not necessarily going to happen. And you're potentially setting yourself up to fail again. Like, and then you're not going to want to do it. So I think, yeah, it's always the small things. And you can set yourself things like a 10-minute timer or a 5-minute timer. Like, if you're really struggling, be like, right, set a timer, 5 minutes. What can I get done that's gonna get me back on track, as we're saying? Like,
yeah,
but what can I do? Like, does that mean drinking a glass of water? Because you might not have drunk like a lot of water whilst you're away. Like, is that eating, like you say, a bit of fruit? Is it, okay, I'm going to quickly declutter this bit of the room because I feel like once that's decluttered, I'll feel a bit better because that will happen, you know? It's just those little things. Can I quickly walk around the block for 5 minutes? Those little things
yeah,
then trigger other things to happen, don't they? Like, I
yeah,
don't know about like you, but like when I get back off holiday, so say like if we got home on like a Saturday or a Sunday, I would make sure on a Monday I've planned a workout. I'm gonna do a workout on a Monday because that
yeah.
gets me back into it. If I don't do something almost straight away, that's when it leads me to be like, oh, okay, we're 2 weeks down the line and I still haven't done anything.
Definitely, definitely. I always do my meal plan before I go on holiday and write out my
Mm,
shopping list. So when I get back on whatever day it is, say it's a weekend, I don't even have to think about what I'm going to eat the next week. Don't have to think about planning it because that's already done. I just go to the
amazing.
shops, get everything on my list, and a lot of them are just probably staples that I like to cook, which are easy. So it's not anything crazy and wild for that week that I'm back as well. And like you say, plan a workout in for as soon as you get back or the day after. It might not be the best workout in the world, but then you're already back in that mindset of planning your food, having the right nutrition, completing workouts. Like yeah, it's just so much easier then, isn't it?
Yeah, and then things spiral off the back of that. But I think that's a really good idea, like planning your food before. And like, if you can't or you don't like going to the shops, you can already pre-order your food to be delivered on
Mm,
that day. Like, you don't even need to go there
yeah,
necessarily. But if you've already planned it and re got it in, like, oh, bang, and that's, yeah, makes life even easier. I love
definitely.
that.
And I always think as well, like have some things, like I always have some things in the freezer. Like last night, for example, bit of real talk, right? I made a chickpea curry, which I haven't made in a really long time. And I had a first bite and it tasted really bad. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet, right? But I'm not a bad cook. Like I'm quite a good cook. Well, I
Oh
think
yeah,
so
I
anyway.
agree. I agree. I've eaten your food. I'm still alive.
And Sam was like, "This doesn't. I don't know what's wrong with this. I must have put too much curry powder in turmeric because that's the only real. Like it was coconut milk, spices. Um, yeah, so it must have been like too much curry powder or something that I put in there. Maybe I read the recipe wrong, but it was so like it was just so strong and just we were like we can't eat this. So then Sam was like, oh, we could order something. We could get a takeaway Indian. And in my head, I was like, it's a Monday night. I really don't want to start the week off with getting takeaways and stuff because then you kind of get in that momentum of like not wanting to cook, etc. So I was like, what have I got in the freezer? And I'd actually made sweet potato soup the day before and had leftovers, so I froze it. So I actually could just cook that. So I was like, I'm going to reheat my sweet potato soup. And then I always buy the little pizzas that I think I spoke about ages ago, but the little pizzas from Aldi that are like 500 calories for the whole pizza. Um, so someone's like, oh, I'll just have one of those. Well, I suppose the point of my story is like always to have these things in your freezer as well for like days that,
Hmm.
or if you get back on like a Thursday from holiday, then maybe that Thursday night you can just grab something out your freezer if you haven't got your food shopping or anything like that. Um, like the other day, I made pasta sauce and I made far too much. So again, I just froze it into little big ice cubes. And now I've got like 4 days or 4 portions of pasta sauce, which has got like peppers and aubergine and all healthy, great stuff in it, that I can just literally cook pasta, stir that in, easy meal.
Love that. Yeah. Yeah, and that doesn't take long, does it? It doesn't take long to once you've made the pasta sauce to then bang it in the freezer, like, and so easy
No,
to then just bang it in your pasta when it's hot and it all like melt in. Like, I love that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah, making things easy. And like you said, like, yeah, real talk. We like real talk. Like, things don't always go the way you think they're gonna go, but like you had backups because you had stuff
yeah,
in your freezer.
yeah, exactly,
And,
exactly.
and and yeah, and I think like you said, we talked. There's one episode where it's got freezer and cupboard staples in the link, like for you to download. Like, go and download it and have those things available just in case. It's like me at the moment. Oh my God, there's like nothing in my fridge. You know, you're like, Jesus, like normally I have like pancakes for like breakfast and stuff, and I would run out of all the stuff. I need to go shopping. And I was like, what can I have? Luckily I had oats in the cupboard. So I was like, oh, that's okay. Oats, water, bang it in, add my seeds and all that stuff in. I still had my breakfast because I had something that was a staple in the cupboard
Yeah,
just in case. And it's like having your tins of tuna and stuff. I've got a bit of lettuce left, so I'm like, oh, I've got a tuna tin. I can still use that. Like, I try not to. I
yeah,
don't use unless I fancy them, but I don't use them unless I need to, like for like emergencies of I have no food left.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it is hard sometimes, like to get that. So say I'm just using holidays because it's an easy one, but say you have been on holiday, maybe you've been wanting to lose weight or get more defined like before your holiday. So you've
Mhm.
really focused and motivated before, and then you come back, and then you're kind of, well, what's my reason? What's my motivator for carrying on? And I was listening to something the other day, and they were talking about like willpower and why willpower. We can't rely on willpower.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, most of us, no matter how kind of disciplined we are, it's really, really difficult to rely on willpower. And they said something really amazing, which was like, you've got to rely on why power. And I was like, I
Oh,
love that.
yeah, absolutely.
So I think so after something like a holiday, you've got to re-find your why. If your like motivator, your why has then been, what is another why that you could use? Is it for longevity, run after your kids, make sure you don't get health problems, whatever it might be, you've got to re-find your why and then use your why power to re-motivate you to get back into routine or yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And like you say, that there's always going to be periods of time where you don't have something to aim towards.
Yeah.
So having that like why is a really good thing to fall back on. Like, why? Because you want to do it for your kids. You want to be around longer for your kids. You know, they like, especially if you have them, not everyone does, but they're really good motivators as to why you should still go and move and eat healthier. Like, monkey see, monkey do, as we always say. Like, your kids will watch what you do and they will do what you do. So if you're think of those things and you'll think of them as you're teaching your kids. So you still have a purpose, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's easy to be like, I don't have a purpose, I don't have a goal, but think of those things and use those as your new purpose for that time being until you have another goal. But if you're really goal driven, then find something that you can aim towards.
Yeah. Might be a 5K, might be a 3K, might be a cycle, it might be, I don't know, whatever it might be, but find
Yeah.
something that drives you. And I mean, me and you, like, we're not, well, I don't, we haven't actually talked, but I don't think we are aiming for anything in specific. Like, I'm not training for anything. I'm ultimately just doing everything for my just health. And I think for me as well, I train because for my mental health, because I know that when I eat healthy, I sleep well, I go to the gym, mentally, I feel better. So that is a strong enough why for me to keep showing up for myself. So that is always the back of my head of, well, if I don't go to the gym and I just sit around and do nothing and I start eating those takeaways, I'm just going to feel rubbish physically and mentally. So that's like my driver and because of future as well. Like I see so many people that can't walk in their 60s and 70s and things, and I think, oh, I would not want to live that life where I just stuck and can't move. So, but yeah, it's finding what's important to you at the end of the day, isn't it? Your wires.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm like in the same boat. Like, I mean, I play football, so
Yeah.
I do have something where I have to be like, oh, if I'm not feeling good, then I'm not going to perform well, blah, 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 blah. So there is that in the back of my head. So I do train because I'm like, if I don't train, then I'm going to be shit at football and I don't want to look rubbish in front of people and I want to
Yeah.
perform and feel good. Like, I don't want to be running around like dying when actually, if I put some effort in the week, like I might not be. But also, there are times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I do have to think. I'm like, no, I want to be like, I'm not going to run a marathon, but you know, when you see those 93-year-olds that are running a marathon, I was like, I
Yeah.
want to be iconic. I want to be epic like that. Again, I see my mum and dad. My dad's 76, and he's like, all right, he doesn't do weights and stuff, but we get him to still do stuff. He walks around, he doesn't look 76. He rolls around on the floor with my nephew. I want to be doing shit like that when I'm older. Like if I've got like grandkids or well, with my nephews and all of that stuff, like I want to be rolling around on the floor. I don't want to have to be like, no, sorry, I can't join in because I ache or whatever. And again, like looking at things from an injury perspective, like I know you've been through injuries. I've had a million injuries and I don't want to be that. And I know if I sit around all the time past injuries hurt more or I if I'm gonna like you say sit around do nothing eat takeaways and stuff again mentally gonna feel rubbish but actually doing the exercise getting stronger is helping with all of my injuries like my
Yeah.
shoulder doesn't hurt when I sit at my desk so much because I've been doing neck strengthening stuff like all these things when you start seeing them work you're like oh my gosh but you have to the driver to be consistent because you're like oh okay this doesn't hurt so much anymore this is fantastic I feel good and we shouldn't be getting to the point where it really drives me insane when people are like, oh, like I'm 30 now, I'm old. Like, no, like, oh,
No.
I'm gonna start aching because I'm 30. No, stop it. Like, one of the girls that I know the other day,
Absolutely.
she went to a physio and she said to her, she's like, oh yeah, you're probably getting pain here because you're, like 26. I think she's 26 anyway. Oh, because you're getting old. Oh my God, like I nearly copped. I was like, no, that is not a reason for you to be hurting. Like
No.
you've had an injury, you obviously need a massage or something needs to be happening there, or you need to strengthen something. Like
Mm,
just because you're getting older doesn't mean you should hurt.
no, definitely not. And my nan is 86, I think. Don't get me wrong, she has got arthritis and things, and she is old, let's be honest, right? But she still goes out walking every single day for at least an hour, every single day. And I just think
Amazing.
that's incredible that I want to be doing that when I'm 86. Like I went out walking with her not that long ago. She's walking quicker than me, and we get lost at one point, and she's like, "Oh gosh, like an hour back." We went out for like an hour and a half, and she's like, "Oh, okay, like, it's like she's better than me."
I love it. I love it. And that's the thing, isn't it? Finding your why. Like, do you want to be sat in a corner doing nothing, or do you want to be out exploring the world? Like, I still want to be traveling. I don't want to be like sat in my house. I want to spend my retirement money going around the world, seeing things, and that ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen if I'm not fully fit or functioning. Like,
no, no, exactly. And I think another thing is that we need to like focus on our wins as well,
hmm
because I think sometimes I'm guilty of it as well. I forget like how far I've come in things, and you kind of sitting in the space of here and now. You're like, oh, I want to be better at that. I want to be able to do this. I want to do this X, Y, and Z. And actually, I'm like, oh, over the last however many X many years, I've actually done this. I've done that. I've done X, Y, and Z. And I think it just like that's a motivator as well. Like, so I suppose if you've had like a birthday, stuff like that, and maybe you've just for the example gained a couple of pounds, but maybe you've lost 10 kilos over the last year, for example, go back and remind yourself these couple of pounds aren't going to take back all the progress that I've previously made. Like you've lost however much weight you've lost or got more energy, whatever it is. So don't let those couple of days of maybe overeating, overindulging, maybe it's been your birthday or someone else's, you've had some cake, whatever. Like, don't let that derail you. So celebrate all the little wins that you've had over years. I think, again, it was in a podcast, they were talking about a success board. And they're like, you should do it really every 6 months. I really want to do it. I haven't done it yet. But like, just put up all your successes. And then every 6 months, add something to it. And then you can look back at that board and you could be like, wow, I've done this in my career, maybe I've traveled here, maybe you've had kids, maybe I've got married, or whatever it is, you can put it, whatever is important to you and you're proud of, like put it on your success board and remind yourself of how badass you are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And actually, in saying that, so I've got like on my computer, I've got it's not really a computer, it's a board of paper and notes is what it is that I've stuck to the computer screen. And at the beginning of the year, like I wrote down the stuff that I wanted to do throughout the year, like big things in my business. And I keep it up there because every now, like I will look at it and be like, oh yeah, I did do that. I have done that. I have booked this in. We have done a podcast, like all these big things just to remind me you have come far. Like you've done more than you think because it's so easy to forget like what you've done if you've not got it down. And also I listened to this thing the other day and it was about scheduling stuff into your week. And actually I didn't realize how much I do this. Like we always talk about time blocking and stuff, but he was saying like don't make necessarily a to-do list for the day because that can be like overwhelming. Like make it for like the whole week. Be like, right, these are the things I want to get done this week, like big priority things. And then
Yeah.
each day be like, right, today I'm going to do that and I'm going to put that in. So it's like it's called like slow, what did he say? It's we're always too busy, like, and
Yeah.
we need to do everything. So he's like, and actually you're not getting stuff done that quickly because you're trying to do too much in one day in such a small amount of time, and you're not going to be as productive. Slow productivity is what it's called. So he was like, find something over the week, you've got 7 things to do, you must get them in somewhere, right, put that in today and then just focus on that one thing. And like I know like I definitely struggle with this, but actually this week it's been better because I thought actually no, I'm not going to like put a million things into my day, I'm just going to take that one thing and make sure I finish that one thing. I know I've got to do the other stuff in that week, but doing that way rather than having a to-do list every day with like a million things on it, like it just never gets done. And I feel like I'm constantly moving my to-do list.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I love that. Yeah. And it's finding things like that work for you, isn't it, at the end of the day? And that could be used, I suppose, to get you back on track of like picking the priority things you need to do and then just doing one thing a day or 3 things across the week or something like that.
Yeah. Because like you say, then it's not 10 things in one day trying to get loads of stuff done in like half an hour when that's never going to be like it's never going to work. And like it will take a little bit of time to sink into this because you have to figure out how long it takes to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like you might think, okay, I'm going to time block for an hour, and then actually an hour's gone and you're like, oh shit, like I haven't done like half of that. But then that's okay because next time when you come back to it, you know you've got to give yourself a bit more time. So again, it's like trial and error and figuring it out. But then eventually you'll be like, right, I know this food shop's only going to take me 45 minutes, so I can time block that 45 minutes. Like, you know, when you start doing these things and some of them are similar, you learn. But again, you have to be consistent and you have to stick with it. Don't just go, this
Yeah.
doesn't work, because it will work.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that we always say, like, organization is the key to everything, really, to be successful in life. Like, if you plan, you spend time doing all that stuff, planning the prepping, etc., you're going to be successful because you're keeping on top of it all. But like we're saying, just adjust that to some weeks. Like, give yourself a little bit of kindness, maybe buy some ready meals if you've got less time, you know, and then on the less busy weeks, higher the expectations, cook a few more meals from scratch, do longer workouts, get out more walks. And then on the busy weeks, lower that a bit. And that's the most important thing, really. Planning, scheduling, adjusting weeks to go with whatever's going on. and being kind to yourself as well if things don't go 100% to plan, because that's also
Yeah.
life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And you have to keep with it because life is going to
Yeah,
keep life in.
definitely. Don't give up. That is
Yeah,
the most
no.
important thing. Even when it feels like nothing is working and your life is ending, I promise you it's not. You've got
Yeah.
to not give up on yourself, because you will, like, and success looks different as well. And we've covered all this one, but success looks different. Like if you plan, if you have your expectations lower on those busy weeks, you'll still be successful. You achieved what you planned for on that week. That makes
Hmm.
sense. So
Yeah. And all those
yeah,
small little things that you're still doing are still gonna give you the bigger results at the end of the day. If you stop doing them, they're
yeah,
not. But if you just do them, like you say, in a smaller whatever you want to call it, but a smaller amount, like that will still head you towards your goal.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, should we wrap it up there for today?
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna say something else. Like my brain is like, I wanted to say something, but I can't remember what it was. So yes, let's leave it there. Damn, it's annoying. Oh well, we roll.
Well, if you
Absolutely.
roll,
Oh,
if you roll,
what I was gonna say is like, I was talking to a client actually the other day, and like she panics, and like her worry of like other people around her means that she kind of gives up on herself because she's got too much worry elsewhere. Like, I don't know if you've ever had, well, I suppose a lot of people probably do it, to be fair. And again, it's then just realigning your goals to why are you worrying so much about that person? Do you need to worry so much about that person? Are they still capable of looking after themselves? Like, and yeah, picking up that baseline, like, of, okay, well, I'm really worried about that person, but I can still eat my fruit and veg.
so
And I think like emotions can take over like really badly when it comes to stuff like this. But I
yeah,
think you also just, yeah, the last thing is just be aware of why, what it is that's taking over and why. Is it really, like you just say, that catastrophic? Like, do you need to stop doing everything, or can we still carry on with the baseline? Because I think a lot of people's emotions really override everything they do.
absolutely. Like, I'm quite an emotional person, so if something happens to me, I'm better at it now. But back in the day, maybe if something had happened first thing, that would trigger an emotional response, and I'd be like, well, I'm not doing anything today. I'm just going to have to like hibernate and get, actually it probably even lasts a week or 2 weeks because of that emotional response. So that baseline goes out the window, and that takes practice as well, because I suppose there's more going psychological side, but sometimes that emotional side takes over, and it's really hard to pull yourself back from that. Um, but even on those days where they are difficult, like, so I have days like that now. My mental health goes really down the pan. Something triggers it, but I try and still go out for a little walk. I make sure to drink water, and I make sure to have the meals that I've planned for that day. I may not do a workout. I may not work. I may not do other things that I want to do, but I still focus on that baseline. And that, because if I go completely off, then I'll feel even worse. It'll take me even longer to recover from that.
Mm.
Is that kind of what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I think that's really helpful for people, especially when people really struggling struggle mentally and let their emotions
Yeah,
take over everything. I think that's helpful.
absolutely. Because anxiety, depression, OCD, whatever it is you're going through, like I've had depression, I have anxiety. Um, so I know how it feels like be in that world, and sometimes the anxiety takes over or the depression takes over, and it's really hard to get out of that. Um, but I do always try to stick to the baseline things. My mind tells me stay in, don't do anything. But I know if I go out for a walk in the sunshine or just outside, that actually I do feel a little bit better. And actually, maybe if I called a friend, but there was another week that I felt really, really down, spoke to a friend on a phone. The rest of the week, I was feeling so much better, just getting it all off my chest. I'm not saying that's the perfect fix for everyone, but you have got to try and do some little things to pull yourself back from it, because you let yourself sit in that, it's only going to get worse. So you have to do some healthy choices, text a friend, call a friend, go out for a walk, whatever it is. Don't get me wrong, I still sat there and watched probably 4 hours of like back-to-back TV of like a show, because it helped me like zone out and distract from the anxiety. I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go and do a workout now and I'm gonna eat all my 5 a day and I'm gonna go, like, no, it's still a struggle, but there's just those basic things that I keep doing that help me get through it.
Yeah. So I think that's quite good. I think like picking three basic things that you just get into your routine that you forever do,
Yeah,
like one almost exercise, one when I say that, like walk, step in, like low impact, then
yeah,
having your nutritional thing, something you do all the time nutritionally that you can stick to, that you know is going to help you and to stay hydrated. I think those three things are like a
yeah,
massive core part of something that you should always try and do, even if you feel like crap. Ow,
absolutely. And actually, you're okay.
sorry. Yeah, I've got a bruised leg and I just like smashed my hands on my leg. Let's not do that. Cool.
But actually, I think that's a really good tip for just at any point, if you've had Christmas, you've had a birthday, you've gone on holiday, you've had a social event, whatever, the next day, right, what are my three things? Get out for a walk today, have my healthy lunch, and get back to drinking my water. Because
Mhm.
they're like really achievable things. It might be that you get out for a 5 minute walk. It might be that I have the same breakfast every day. So it might be that you do that to get straight back into it food wise. And then grab your bottle of water, fill that up, start sipping that.
Yep.
Done.
Basics. Nailed.
Yes. So, like you say, that was really good. I think just keep the three. What are those three things? And just always use them to reset yourself and get back into it
Yeah, 100%.
without being overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I think, yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. I love that.
Awesome. Right. Well, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. I really hope you found that helpful, and just, yeah, if anything, just take away those three basics and use that every time you need to pull yourself back in a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Do that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch you in the next one. Oh, actually, almost forgot. If you want to join our free groups, the links will be down below. If you want to go on our socials, our Instagrams stuff will also be linked. If you want to contact us, you have any questions, email us at contactempoweryouFitness@gmail.com. If you have our numbers, obviously feel free to message us. We always love to hear from you. If you have any feedback or if you have any topics you want us to discuss, let us know. And yeah, we will finally now leave you.
We will.
Bye,
Adios.
guys. Bye.